Record on computer. Here we are. Hey, everybody. It's Shaw Blackburn, the Loon Witch, former regional coordinator for New England Pagan Pride and currently retired. And I'm here with Lisa Butler, who is the local coordinator for Southeastern Massachusetts Pagan Pride. And I'm going to be doing some videos to just introduce you to your Southeastern Mass PPD committee. A lot of times you don't realize how many people it takes to put on an event, and it's kind of like, how many pagans does it take to screw in a light bulb? So we don't use light bulbs, we use need fires. Kidding. I just built a new lamp at the shop today. But the cool thing about the lamp is it came with 5 different colored I don't know, tops on it. So it's like 5 different little octopus arms. And when I looked at the color, the only reason I bought it was 1, because it was under $20, and 2, the colors were basically air, fire, water, earth, and spirit. So this is me building it at the shop, arranging them according to the location of the arm and the directions that they were going in. That's how I roll. And you know, incorporating your spiritual path into your everyday life, I think, is an important part of keeping true to your spiritual path. But that's me. So anyway, here we are with Lisa Butler. She is your local coordinator for Southeastern Mass Pagan Pride, which has been held at the Ted Williams camp in Lakeville for many, many years. How many years has it been there?
Since 2007.
Wow. All right. So that's many, many years. Many, many, many years. And sadly, 2020, we can't be gathering en masse, in mass. So we're doing our virtual event, and I'm just behind. I'm the spider behind the scenes, trying to help get things on the internet. So Lisa, why don't you give us all a little introduction, like who you are, how did you get interested in Pagan Pride? You know, what kind of path do you follow? How long have you been the coordinator? You're writing all these questions down, right? So I don't have to repeat them.
No.
All right, well, go ahead. You just talk and I'll interject questions as needed.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Butler. I am the local coordinator for Southeastern Mass Pagan Pride. I have been since 2007, so that is 13 years now. Wow, that happened fast. I became the Pagan Pride coordinator at the request of the regional coordinator at the time, the Loon Witch, and never imagined that I would still be doing it 13 years later. But Pagan Pride has become one of the staples of my life, and I'm glad that I am associated with it. I am a priestess and an elder in the Order of Blended Wisdom, and I've been practicing magic for 20 plus years now. It took a while to put a name to what it was that I believed. And then I found a book by Scott Cunningham talking about it was called The Truth About Witchcraft Today. And when I read it, it was like, that's me. And so when I moved to Massachusetts, I was very fortunate to be able to find the Loon Witch at a local shop that is no longer in business, and she was doing classes, and I started taking classes with her, and my practice has grown from then. I am an eclectic witch. I take things from different parts of the world and include them in my practice. My god and goddess pantheon is primarily Greek, but not exclusively Greek. I look at mythology from all over the world. I just recorded a candle magic spell for this page in which I use the runes as part of my candle magic, and that's just one of the different kinds of symbolisms that I use. Trying to think what else is important or interesting about me. I don't know, Shaw.
What else is important or interesting about you? You're a world traveler.
I am a world traveler. Yes, I was very fortunate in 2008 I got to go to Europe and spend 6 months working in Europe. And I went to as many places in Europe as I was ever able to go while working. Seems like every weekend I went somewhere new. And over Easter weekend, I was able to spend the weekend in Paris, which was really cool because a lot of things in Europe are closed. They still have blue laws in Europe, so things are often closed on Sundays. And then being a Holy Weekend, things were closed from Good Friday to Good Monday for the whole weekend. And there was nothing to do around where I was living, so I was like, well, I wonder what's open in Europe. So I started Googling things, and I Googled the Louvre Museum, and it was open on Sunday. And I was like, if it's open on Sunday, they're open all weekend. So I spent the weekend in Paris. So that was a lot of fun. But the best part about it was I got to spend 5 days in Greece while I was there. And literally stepping off the plane, I felt like I was at home. So that kind of really resonated with me and made me realize that my spirituality was in the right place and made me very, very happy. Since then, I've traveled to a couple of other places, but one of the places I definitely want to go back to is Greece and spend more time there. The fact that they all speak English really, really helps.
Oh my God, right? We went to Ireland.
We have been to Ireland. That was really fun. We went on a woman's spiritual retreat. That was quite interesting. And it was very interesting to see because I'm not really sure if the people that were leading the retreat are pagan or not.
They're not.
Okay, well, that explains a lot because sometimes it seemed like the places that they took us, they were, and then with the activities that they did for us, they weren't. So it was very interesting. But Ireland is beautiful. I would definitely recommend going back there. I want to get to the Far East at some point in my travels, and I want to get to Australia and New Zealand in my travels. Those are on my list of places.
Well, I can vouch for the Far East. If you go, definitely want to go to Hong Kong and visit the Poland Monastery. That's a very unique and spiritual place. You can climb 108 steps to the giant Buddha. Literally be in the highest place I've ever been. Anyway, you can literally stick your hand out and have your hand in a cloud. You're so high.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When I was in Europe, I went skydiving and we fell through a cloud, and that was really cool. I did a tandem dive, and the guy was like, "Look at your arms," and I looked at my arms, and there was snow on my arms as we fell through the cloud.
Wow,
that's really cool. So if you ever want to know what it feels like to fly, I definitely recommend that you try skydiving.
Nice. So let me ask you, Lisa, in 13 years, what has been your biggest challenge in putting together and organizing the Pagan Pride event in Lakeville?
So the biggest challenge, I think, is getting enough volunteers to help out, especially on the day of the event. We need people with strong backs on the day of the event that can come in early in the day and help us set up. Move picnic tables, which are really, really heavy, from one location to another. Sometimes it's a few feet. Sometimes it could be a few 100 feet. And I can no longer do those kinds of things. So that's one big thing. We've been very fortunate. One of our other volunteers has brought her teenage and young adult children, and they've been really good about moving tables and helping out with stuff like that, and helping the vendors set up tents or carry things from their car to their setup area. But we don't know how long we can depend on that, because eventually they're going to be like, "Mom, I don't have to do what you asked me to anymore because I don't live with you anymore."
I was going to say, yeah, right. Or they might move out of state or.
Yeah, there's so many things. So we can't really rely on the vendors themselves to provide any additional help, because they're spending time setting up their booths, and they have a finite amount of time when they're allowed to do that. So that's the biggest thing, is getting volunteers the day of the event. We've been very fortunate in getting people to volunteer to do things at the event, like providing workshops or performances, or donating time throughout the day to man a booth so that somebody can teach a class, or man a booth so that somebody can go to the bathroom and stuff like that. So we've been really fortunate in that aspect, but having physical labor volunteers is really hard. And a lot of times we don't know until that morning if we're going to have any at all. And so that makes it really hard. So getting volunteers and knowing that they're going to show up in advance is probably the biggest obstacle.
Okay. And of course, all Pagan Pride events are free to the public to attend. We only ask for a donation of a canned good for a food drive, which is one of the requirements of the Pagan Pride Project. And how many pounds of food on average over, year after year does PPD typically donate to the food shelter, the food bank?
We usually donate close to 200 pounds of food a year to the local food bank in Middleborough, which is the town right next to where we do Pagan Pride, Southeastern Mass Pagan Pride. When I was looking for places to accept our food donation, I called all kinds of different places, and I found one place that did not require attendance at a religious service in order to get food. It's at the Unitarian Church in Middleborough, and they were like, nope. And I said, and do you have any problem taking a donation from pagans? And they were like, no, but why would you want to donate to us? And I explained it to them, and they were like, we're happy to have it. So we've consistently given them a couple 100 pounds of people food every year, and they also have started accepting after our first year pet food as well, because they said we have so many people that come in and need that ask, do you have anything for pets? So for a while we were donating to the Humane Society, but once they told us they had a need there, we give all of the food to them.
That's great. And so everybody else is aware, there's currently a donate button on this page. If you're watching from the website, if you're watching on YouTube, you can go to SEMAPPD.org and look on the workshop page. You'll find the donation button right next to the YouTube. And all the donations that go through that button will be sent over to the food bank. So whatever you can afford to donate, it's a paypal.me button, and you just fill in whatever amount you want to donate.
Yeah, Miss Ruth, who picks up the donations, is this little elderly lady, and her husband. The first year they came in a car and they had stuff in the trunk, and were overwhelmed by the amount of food. We actually had to play Jenga to get it in the car.
They didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. And now they come with either a pickup truck or the trunk's empty or something. And we have the volunteers at the welcome booth help them load it into the car so that they don't have to. But she told me that ours has been one of the most consistent donations that they've had over the years. So I know they're going to be struggling this year without us giving them 200 pounds of food. So the Pagan Pride Committee itself is donating a monetary donation to them this year, and anything that comes in on the through the donation button to our PayPal will also be donated to them. If you're not comfortable with PayPal and you still want to donate, please do. You can send cash, money order, check to us at SEMA PPD. Our mailing address is on the contact button, but it's P.O. Box 1156 Lakeville, Massachusetts. And I will make sure that any donations that come in the month of September go directly to the food bank to help support them in our local community.
Off topic on Meet the LC, but do you know if the food bank has like a website or anything like that?
I don't know that. I don't think that they do. They did not the last time I checked, but it's been several years ago since I checked.
Okay. So. All right. Might be something if they do, we can link back to, or we could even put, like, if they have a Dropbox for donations, we could put that on our website for people that are local to the area.
Okay. I've started an email communication with Miss Ruth for this year, so I'll ask that question and we'll be able to let you guys know.
That would be awesome. Awesome. So, all right. So in 13 years, what do you think is the biggest blessing that you've received from coordinating this event?
Well, probably the absolute biggest blessing has been getting to meet such a wide variety of people in our community, from the smallest of children to the wisest of elders and special guests that we've had come in. I've met some really, truly interesting and fascinating people. Some of the absolute best times I've had have been at some of our prior fundraisers that we did for PPD. We used to do the Midsummer Fairy Frolic, which was a costume party, and we had a costume contest, and I can honestly say I have never laughed so hard in my life as I had laughed at the 4 men who dressed up for the costume party as they were starting their stuff trying to win best costume. I was literally in tears. It was fabulous.
That's right, because I used to have the white fluffy bunny basket and the
Yep.
glow in the dark stamp for when people came in.
Yeah, and it was really funny because like almost all of the women that came would dress up in some way, even if it was just to wear a cloak in
Yes.
some way or another. Most of the men did not, but a few times we would get, you know, a couple of the guys would also be in the spirit of it. And sometimes they were extremely creative with their costumes. And sometimes it was a simple cloak and maybe a headdress. Maybe not even that. Maybe they got their face painted while they were there. And then we did a parade of costumes and everybody there voted. And the four guys, when they were starting their stuff, I was slayed. It was awesome.
Okay. I think for 2021, because I'm sure, knocking on wood, right, that we'll be allowed to be in person again. So for 2021, maybe something that could be done is another costume contest at the event.
That could be good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna write a note right now.
got that down. And what's your vision for, the next Pagan Pride? I know this is a challenge doing things online, um, but we're getting it done. Where do you see this event going, or where would you like to see this event going? Is there any particular keynote speaker you want to attract, or anything along those lines?
Wow. Any particular keynote speaker? We've been so blessed. We've had Dorothy Morrison and Raven Grimassi and Tris Telesco and Merv Sellers, who's an author of pagan-inspired urban fantasy fiction. Um,
Yeah, we had Jenna Talandro from the.
Jenna Tilander. Yeah, we've had some really remarkable featured speakers. So if there anyone on my bucket list to get, I'm not sure that I could come up with a name off the top of my head. I guess that would be a good question for the audience. Who do you want to see at Pagan Pride?
Oh,
Please email us and let us know. We will see what we can do about working it out. Because the first year that we were trying to get in Lakeville, myself and the regional coordinator had to go before the Lakeville town to get permission to do it. And I was a little nervous and I wasn't sure how the town was going to accept it. It being a pagan event. But they gave us permission and we were able to go in. And every single year we've got such positive feedback from the town. We leave the park better than we find it. I am a little bit of a trash Nazi. On the day you'll see me walking through, I'll be asking everybody to pick up their trash. And like if there's a piece of confetti this big or a cigarette butt near your booth, I want you to pick it up even if I know that you didn't smoke. I am really big on we've earned a really good reputation with the town of Lakeville. We don't have to go before the committee anymore. I think we had to do it 2 years in a row, and after that they were like, yeah, you're fine.
yeah.
And that's what I want. I want to continue. When we first started meeting at the Ted Williams camp, there was a church that also met there on Sundays. And they requested that we be respectful of the church that was already there, which we of course were. And they started coming out after their service. The first year they just stood at the entrance and just watched. The second year they came a little closer and asked questions, and then they started looking through the booths. There are soccer and baseball fields there at the park. We have people that parents come over and look through our booth. our booths of vendors. And so I think that's really great. And that's what I would really love to see paganism be that accepted worldwide. And we're starting small. We're starting with our own local little community. We've got a great reputation. We've had some really good press. I'd like to see more press again.
Yeah.
Help spread the word. But that's what I want. I want people to feel comfortable about who they are and what they're doing. And if you watch my Candle Magic video that I did earlier, it talks about pulling magic into your daily life and from all kinds of different resources. Shaw talking about buying a lamp and setting them up, setting the globes up. That's bringing paganism into her everyday life, and it's so easy to do. People, I read a bunch of forums and they're like, do you have an altar in your house? And I've got so many altars in my house, and people don't even realize it when they walk in.
Right.
I have paintings on different walls that reflect the different elements, and I'm like, my whole house is an altar and nobody even realizes it but me.
Right. But they do. When they walk in, you can definitely feel it's a sacred space.
Yeah.
So, all right, Lisa. Well, thank you very much. Is there any other things that you want to say to the future audience? Or, well, how about we'll make sure that the contact information is up. Obviously, if you're watching it on YouTube, Lisa will give you the contact information in 2 seconds. And if you're watching it on the website, then you can just click our contact page and send an email right to us.
So the contact information for email is to the committee is SEMAPPD@gmail.com. And somebody from the committee will get to it. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't been 100% very good at checking that email regularly. I will start doing that on a much more frequent basis.
That's all right. I've been doing it because I've been working on the website.
But take this time for 20. I'm calling this the COVID reset. Most of us have been so overwhelmed in our daily lives that the little bit of a break can do us all good. I've still been working full time. I haven't missed a day of work due to COVID. I know some people are out of work, and you're in our prayers for meeting all of the needs that you need to meet without a steady income. But hopefully this has given everybody a little bit of downtime where you can reset your life and prioritize the things that are important to you, including self-care and spirituality. And let's move on into 2021 and make the 20s roar again. And see you guys next year at the Pagan Pride event, which is always the second Sunday in September at the Ted Williams camp.
Maybe you need to do that tiger ritual again. Just saying. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks, everyone.